Hi all, welcome to day 18 of our 100 days of DevOps journey. So earlier we have seen containerization, Git, and there are various different things that we have explored in containerization, like container images, container, how to run a container, what are environment variables, what are different parameters of that. So uh, then there are ports, okay, how to run a container, how to expose a container, container networking, container volumes, and everything. So there are various things that we have seen. Suppose let's just say so now let's just take things up a bit up a notch. Okay, so here let's just say let's just see the practical implementation of containers. Okay, how what are the practices that we follow if you want to you want to deploy a particular application on a container, okay, on a Docker container. So there are like s- in previous I think in docker volume session, so we have seen we have deployed MySQL and WordPress servers. Okay, so here you might have seen there are these parameters, these particular environment variables hyphen e. Okay, these environment variables we have seen. Okay, here these are some of the environment variables that we have seen. Then there is this db volume, okay, this volume and port and everything. Suppose if in that session I have made one mistake. I have here I have used under here I have created a volume with underscore, okay, but the volume that was available was hyphen. Okay, it has db hyphen data. Here it is seen db underscore data, okay, or something like that. So there are some in commands are very good, commands are very powerful, but every time it like it is not very what we can say encouraged to use commands all the time. So these commands are very helpful, okay, but there are it is just the manual way of doing things, okay, and human it is prone to human error, like we have provided this example. Okay, similarly if I might have changed this port or something, so our application wouldn't work. Okay, these two containers I have deployed, but in actual case it is there are not only two containers, there are like a whole architecture of a web application that is running behind the scene. Suppose there is some kind of API gateway, then there are load balancer, okay, then there would be like we have front end, we have back end, okay, or there would be only one load balancer that has this routing setup done. Okay, so multiple things can be done over here. Then this we have front end is reaching back to the load balancer. Okay, here front end containers are reaching to this particular the backend service. Okay, so there are a ton of things that we have like we are looking into for right now. Okay, there are a ton of things. So not just this. Wait a minute. So yeah. Okay, so multiple things that that is getting impact, that is getting deployed. Suppose here you have nginx, here also nginx as a load balancer or ha proxy. Okay, then there are backend containers behind the load balancer. There are backend containers. This is API load balancer, and in that we have these containers which are connected to this database. Okay, this database service, this database base would be like multi-node, okay, multi-node infrastructure for fail-safe environment. We have some kind of message queue if some data is being if it is working on live data, like up RabbitMQ, Kafka. Okay, then we have Redis for database for caching and other things, Redis or memcache or any kind of cache available. We have front end React.js application, we have Python application. So there are a lot of things that are working behind the scenes. Okay, and you all doing all of these using the commands, okay, was is not very what we can say is not very encouraged. Okay, is not we could not recommend it. Okay, so there is a certain way, like here we have a whole infrastructure running around. So what we can do, we can just write like we can just use it like there is use this particular image. Okay, let's just we have let me just copy one of the command. Okay, here. So what we can do over here, we can just differentiate it like this name thing. Okay, what would be the name? This particular would be the name, and there are environment variables. So rather than using all the environment variables, we can use okay, like this list. Okay, we have this particular list available, and yeah, so this is how. Then we have this is the volume. Okay, if we have to set volume, so we have configured volume. Then there is this port. Port. Okay, what port? This particular port we have. Then this is the container image. Okay, so there are so many things that we could do over here. Okay, and we have created this a particular file. Okay, suppose if there is any other task, any other, like in this WordPress command. Okay, let's just copy the same way here. So we are already have defined here docker run. We already have defined to run the docker, so we don't have to use this again. Okay, here. So let's just start with name. This is the name of our WordPress server. This is the port on which it would be running. Okay, and here are the environment. Yeah, these are the environment variables we have. uh, okay, these are the environment variables. So a lot of thing could be done over here, and it is just like if you are managing an inventory. Okay, you are managing an inventory for a particular suppose if uh, I don't know if you guys are running errands for your houses or not, but in like there are some kind of, if you have to go grocery shopping. So I'm not sure if you are very good at grocery shopping, but I'm not very good. I accept that. So there are some particular things that my mother or my family member, they just provide me a list of things that they want from the market, from grocery store, and I'll just go and fetch them. Okay, go and get those things for them. So it is it is just like that. So we don't have to, like, we have, once we have declared this, we have to run docker run dit. Okay, everything inside this have to be like that. Okay, so here we have seen the name, and so how would you use this? Okay, you can just save it as a file. All of these configuration you can just easily save it as a file, and run everything in one single click. And if you have to change, like here, I don't want this port, I want this port, so only one thing we have to say. And is one more thing. Every time you make, it is called infrastructure as code. It is very minimalistic. Okay, and this is some kind of syntax that the application should understand. Okay, YML is a very easy to learn language. Here there are, like, uh, let's just go into actual infrastructure as code, which is called docker compose. In docker we run everything using the docker compose. Okay, so let me just open my Mozilla. You might have seen when we were deploying the WordPress server. Okay, there is this docker compose was given. So docker compose, this is docker compose, and I'll just I want to show about this WordPress. Okay, let's start with a very minimalistic example. WordPress. Okay, okay, so here we are on the WordPress page, and this is the docker compose. So what is docker compose? First of all, let's just understand that docker compose is like compose is a tool for defining and running multi-container application. Okay, here just focus over this multi-container application. You can run one container, you can run two containers, but if there are tens of containers, okay, tens or hundreds of containers, if you have to run, or there are multiple servers on which you have to configure that cluster, okay, then it is not very recommended, not recommended to run using commands. You can easily, so here on this documentation, in this is the whole manual why I use docker compose. So it is used for, like, it is basically managing multi-container applications. Okay, it is the key to unlocking streamline and efficient. We are not even close to very high level architecture. Okay, so this is just the docker architecture. So first of all, there are multiple things on infrastructure as code level. Okay, so compose simplifies the control, and you can read everything over here. So so let's just get how to install docker compose. I don't know if I think it might be directly installed with docker.io. Docker -h. I think compose commit attach. Let me just check if docker compose is installed. Earlier there was some kind of there was some kind of configuration that we have to do. Okay, but right now it is just like install Docker Compose plugin or something like that. Yeah, install apt-get install Docker Compose. So it is very simple with that. Okay, and there is one more thing though. Docker Compose plugin in aptitude. mm, Sudo apt search Docker, or I'll say compose, grab Docker. So Docker Compose v2. I think I'll just go for sudo apt-get install Docker Compose. It is very popular tool, so they'll just create everything. So there are some kind of like Python text, Docker Compose. So there are some responsibilities, some dependencies, sorry, dependencies that need to be installed. So yeah, let's go. So with this, our system got the capabilities of running Docker Compose. Now let's just let's just discuss more about what Docker Compose is. Okay, so Docker Compose is basically like, where did it go? Just a moment. Yeah, so Docker Compose. So Compose is powerful tool provided by Docker to define manage multi-container application. Okay, so we can easily use this Docker Compose it is very simple YML format. We just have to create, and there are commands to run Docker Compose. Okay, so why use Docker Compose? Like, let's just see the example over here. So this is the version. Okay, the version of Docker Compose that the version that it decrypts. Okay, like this syntax. Okay, this syntax. So according to which version this syntax is written, it is currently this 3.1. Okay, then there are services are basically the containers that we are running over there. So we have WordPress service, we have database service. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy it over here, copy this and run it as it is. Okay, ls, let's just see, mkdir hyphen p 100 days, day 18. Okay, ls day 18, and here we are. So ls hyphen a, there is nothing in this directory. Okay, let's just get started. So vim, and here I have installed everything. So we have Docker volumes. We have volumes to be created over here. We have image. So I'll just explain you a little bit first. It is not copied very well. So I'll just escape. Wait, I'm not saving anything right now. So first, it is very simple. YML, all the configuration of multiple containers are stored in a single YML file. Okay, no need to remember lengthy commands. It is like it provides ease for multi-container management, perfect for projects that involve multiple services. Okay, like web app, backend, front end, database, full stack. When we go to full stack, it is also useful for developers as well. Okay, to understand how things will work. Okay, if like in dev environment or in local environment, like front end guy would not know how to if there is one right now full stack development is in high demand, but suppose front end person, there is a front end developer. Okay, it does not know about the backend application like Python application. Okay, so how would he code or run that particular Python container? Let's suppose he wants to create some API, integrate some API with the UI and other things. So how would he integrate how would he run the backend? How would he do that? So with the help of this Docker container, that developer can directly install all the run all the containers, the whole architecture in one go, and then make changes in the particular front end environment, or backend developer can do backend environment and other things. So what I'll do over here is, let me just copy this. I think I haven't copied it completely. Okay, so here anyway you can find the documentation over here, how to run the volumes and other and everything. So install Docker Compose, we already have installed. Migrate to Compose version 2, learn how to migrate Compose 1, Compose 2. I don't think that is required. So let's just get started with this. Import app.py setup. What is this? Previous install. Basic understanding 7. Create a directory. Okay, we have created directory, create a file in the project. So they have written a simple Flask API. Okay, that return the count of I have been seen. So it will just uh, it is just a counter of views. Okay, then we have this is the container image. This particular is the Docker Compose file. Build and run the Docker Compose. So yeah, so it is very simple over here. So services web watch alpha. What is this? Add in the Docker Compose, use Compose watch. rebuild and container. So update application, split up your services. So there are a lot of things over here. So reproducibility, like the example we have seen in the front end and back end development environment and all that. Scaling is the option. Okay, and there we can run multiple replicas of that particular container. So there are volume, we can anytime use the volumes and other things. So everything is done over here. So what I'll do, I have copied that, then vim what was that, docker compose dot yml. So this is the default file, you can use any name, but this, if you are keeping the file name like this, so docker compose will directly pick this up. What I'll do, I'll just copy this, save this. I haven't done any changes over here, and right now docker ps hyphen a, no container are running. Okay, docker volume ls, in fact, okay, docker volume, there are no volume. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just create this docker compose pull. So what it will do, it will pull the required what we can say, it will pull all the required images in this. So let me split it, and here we are. I don't want to connect this. Okay, so right now docker images, I don't know if we have the images available. So yeah, no images of this word, at least WordPress and DB are not available. These two images are not available. Let me see. Now it is available. Okay, WordPress we have MySQL, and if we just see docker ps, no containers are there. So what I can do over here is, there is this command. Okay, docker compose up, and with just this one go, with just one go, what has happened, at 100 days, day 18, and we have, so on what port, yeah, here one more thing, if you can see over here, uh, it does not this WordPress host, we don't have to describe any particular port, we don't have to, in database we don't have to expose this port. Okay, so why so, because by default if we just provide it, if it has this, it is running on the default port, this MySQL. Okay, so we just have to provide the host name, the service which is running inside this container, this MySQL container. Okay, DB container. So you can see, if I just docker ps hyphen a, so here you can see we have two container, which is day 18 WordPress and day 1 DB. So this name it has taken this particular name, this service name. Okay, we can define we can define name also, so I can also show that to you. Just a moment. So first of all, let's just see on port 8080. Okay, port 8080 our service is running right now, and this is exposed, but only to the containers in the same network. So let's just start 192.168 port 8080. So yeah, our WordPress server is running in just one single click. Okay, and if I just go see, then it will stop. It will stop. Why so? Here I have run docker compose up, so it provides continuous logs. It provides continuous log, but it will block my terminal. If I exit from the terminal, the container would stop or stop the process. So there is one more command which is called docker compose up d. Okay, so like in the container we have hyphen d for detach mode, so it will work in the same way. Okay, so all these containers are running right now. Here it is running. So yeah, we have everything over here. Then there is docker compose, then we have username would be anything like, what was the username and user, we have given it, and this is some kind of email would be, why am I saving it, I don't know. So it has saved that particular data, and let's just see if I don't want it to, like, if I want to update something. Okay, and there is environment, I have to provide it like custom name. Okay, name would be Web WP. Okay, and here name would be Web MySQL. I have written this. I'll just do one thing. Error compose file invalid field. Oh, name. Container name. Okay. Yeah, this was the container name tag. So I'll just go again and container name. Container name. Recreating. Okay. These two containers are recreated, and here you can see container name has been changed. So I didn't have to pull down my containers. I didn't have to what we can say. I didn't have to run it run a huge command. Okay, and there is this port blocking is not an issue, and nothing was the issue. I just have to check. I just have to update the right. And one more important thing over here. Okay, so in case you were running a command, okay, the command would not have run if you are using the same port. If you are using the since we have changed the name, it will create new containers for sure, but if you are using the same port, it won't be working. It will throw some error, and for that you have to what we can say, you have to delete the container first. Okay, here what so there was a downtime, maybe 1 second, 2 second, 10 second, 20 second, what it would be, but there would be a downtime. But what is the benefit over here in Docker Compose? So it has checked this syntax. Okay, it has checked the syntax that name is not a valid unsupported configuration. Okay, not a valid configuration over here. So it did not pull down my containers which were already running. Okay, it did not turn that off or deleted them, anything. It just checked if these changes are applicable, and if not, it just throw some error over here and keep my container running and behind the scene. So here I'm particularly this particular uh, new containers have been created. So once the commands are applicable, then only it will work. So suppose I have to change this particular version name. Okay, here we are using image WordPress latest image. So rather than latest, we want to use a particular version. Here we want to use a particular version. So that's how it is. If we have to change the this username, password, or something, so you can anytime use this command. So this is very helpful when it comes to and it idempotence. Okay, if you search idempotent, yes, idempotent meaning. So idempotent is a very important term in infrastructure as code. So idempotence is basically like if there is one particular change. Okay, if I only have to like let me just get. Okay, if I only have to change this parameter or add this parameter. Okay, so no other parameter would be hampered. Okay, no other parameter would be changed. Okay, like new volume would not be created. Okay, I'll just show you docker volume ls. Okay, so these two volume have been created automatically, these two volumes. Okay, it did not create again. Suppose if I have to create another volume, I can name them, but these two volumes would not be mounted over there. So that's how it would be. Like let's just say I'll just go. So idempotence is it will only apply those multiplied, like denoting an element to of a set which is unchanged in value when multiplied. Oh, otherwise operated. It is very complicated. So idempotence is whatever the change you want, whatever the changes that you have made, only those changes would be implemented. And if the parameter is same, okay, if parameter of the parameters are the same than previous configuration, okay, then it won't be applied or it won't be changed. Okay, so that's how idempotence work. So we'll see more of it. Like there are multiple IAC tools on different level. Like we are right now only just working on the container level in one server. Then there are multiple multi-node servers also. Then there are container orchestration. We are just only using containers right now. There is the orchestration level. And suppose if you want to use, you don't want this WordPress to go rogue, so there are different like memory, CPU, you can define multiple things over there. So this is the website which is running. And docker, then there is docker quick start, how to specify. There is networking secrets. Yeah, secrets we can pass on. So see, how does secrets work? Secrets are basically like sensitive data, like username, password. It is not it is actually not very encouraged if we use hard-coded secrets, like here in this R file. Where did it go? We have directly provided this secret in plain text. So there are we'll see what we can. There are some standard practices, best practices that we should follow while working on containers. Okay, we'll see along in our journey. So yeah, this is a basic. This is a very basic introduction to Docker Compose. Then there are this secret management. There is yeah, networking part. So how do port forwarding works? There are link containers. Suppose they are how to build link here, link container. So I don't know if we have a link set up over here. No, link is not set up. Link not here as well. I think by default they are multi-host networking, multiple network driver. Yeah. So suppose your database is running on another host and your WordPress is running on another host. So how can you do that? So there are multiple things over here. So this is like enable GPU support. Yeah, GPU support right now. If you are working, and I would suggest that you start working on the AI based application, because AI right now we are seeing the boom in AI, and there are like MLOps engineer, if you would say. So if you are using MLOps, so uh, MLOps part. So there is this NVIDIA, you have to set this NVIDIA CUDA. Okay, NVIDIA CUDA is a framework for running. It is what it is. NVIDIA CUDA is a framework that you would use for GPU accelerated computing part. Okay, integrate it with your Python application and others, PyTorch and TensorFlow and other things. So NVIDIA CUDA would be very helpful for you to integrate it when using this accelerated computing. So yeah, you can enable these things. And secrets in Compose, we have used Compose Watch, automatically updates and previews your running Compose services as you edit, save code. Yeah, so Compose Watch is basically, it will keep a continuous eye on your Docker Compose file, and if you have made any changes, it would saved any changes, then it will just like will try it on, try something also. We have rules from Docker ignore apply, then environment variables. We have how to set environment variables. So here environment we have seen. Okay, debug true, debug false, both syntax are applicable. So this syntax is more like list syntax. Okay, you have multiple environments, just put hyphen and add another one. Okay, then environment file also, this one is very important. Environment file, like if you have to use a particular file with attributes and yeah, in env file we have this path. If there are uh, multiple environment file that you want to use, there are some default configuration. Then there are this, if override.env is provided, then it will this is the default one. Okay, so uh, whichever is available. If it is not provided, then default configuration will be implemented. So there are a lot of things that we can try around. It is just a glimpse of that. Environment variables, like yeah, and predefined variable. Yeah, there are compose convert. I think there is one more thing, control startup order. Control startup order is also like for WordPress to work. Okay, database should be started first. So how would we do that? We have to set up this health check. Yeah, it will just run a health check first on this Redis image. Organization visual. Then there is one more thing I want to show you about this for Docker Compose, right? There are how to's, Compose bridge. So this we'll see later on when we have some glimpse of Kubernetes, and releases are not where. There is one thing that control your resources, resource management, networking, use multiple compose files, merge, extend, include, startup order, service profile, use service profile. What? Oh yeah, service profile. Like you can use this profile for like it is just like a template for front end. It will use a particular, if you have defined a particular profile over here. Okay, so you don't have to like put everything, all the. It is very helpful when you are running multi container. Okay, multiple container, multiple instances of a container. So in that case, it will use all the parameters from this profile. Start compose profile. There is one thing resource source management, Docker compose. These are Docker command. These are for commands. There is for Docker compose as well. CPUs. It is, I think, CPUs or memory that we have to. Yes, CPU limit. Yes, limits, and there is limits is the highest value, and there is request reservation. Yeah, reservations. Okay, so reservation is like this would be dedicated to that particular container on the beginning, but if that is increased, then it will go up to the limit. Okay, it will go up to the limit, and limit should always be higher than reservation. Okay, reservation is like you need uh, on an average, if you would say like you are just going to from your home to your office. Okay, then it would be reserved. Okay, that this much amount of fuel, this much amount of time would be required. But if you have to take a detour, okay, then how much if you go by a vehicle, so there that vehicle should have that vehicle actually have capacity. Okay, if you have to like if you have to travel in same city, okay, you'll need 1 liter of petrol, 1 liter of petrol or 1 liter of fuel in that particular city. But if you have to go beyond that, okay, so there is particular limit that 15 liter, 60 100 liter, okay, 50 liter, 100 liter, or that much of fuel that your vehicle can have. So that's how limits and even though it is like your capacity is around 100 liters of petrol can be added. So but you only need around 30 liters, so that is also fine. Okay, so the reservation would be like 30 liters of petrol is given as a reservation, but limit would be 100 liter. Above 100 liter you could not fill your tank. Okay, so that is how. Then there is, yeah, driver overlay. Overlay driver we have seen in network. So overlay is for multi-node cluster. If possible, I'll create one more. I'm very eager to show you demo on this overlay network. So there are multiple things over here. So right now, if I would say there are two containers running, right? So Docker stats, if I run, so it will show me how many containers are running, what are their CPU percentage, memory usage. Okay, what is the limit? Okay, over here, memory requirement. Extend it. Here. So this is the container ID, this is container name, what is the CPU, memory usage, and the limit we have. Currently it is using the whole it has access to the whole what we can say whole VM's memory. Then memory percentage, memory usage percentage, and everything, input output. So there are a lot of things over here, so you can check over that. So yeah, this is all a brief about. Let's reconvene tomorrow. I hope I want to show you a demo with a full-fledged application. So it might be two parts for us to create the whole project, like front end, back end, and everything. So let's just connect tomorrow on that, and we'll try to implement and some best practices that we should follow in this particular application. So let's just see over there. Okay. So thank you all. Have a nice day, and let's reconnect tomorrow.